Hey folks, welcome back. I'm just going to do a follow-up video on the StealthGearUSA holster that I had purchased a little over a year now. And I have been wearing this holster every day for about a year and a half, however long it's been since I got it. And I just wanted to share a little bit of my experience with it. Again, as I mentioned in the first video, this time, even with the experience, I am extremely happy with this holster. I did notice that there are a couple spots where it did wear. One of them being in the top left here, you see the stitching that's broken. And then there's another spot, yeah, right here where the stitching had broke, so it's showing a tiny bit of the inside material. And then on the bottom corner, as you can see, the stitching broke there as well. Now, honestly, that doesn't bother me whatsoever. It still functions great, and like I said, I wore this thing nonstop. I mean, I do housework, I'd be mowing, throughout the summer in extreme heat, sweating, you name it, stacking wood, all those things. I really worked this holster extremely hard because I just wanted to see, how well it would hold up, and it held up well. One thing I did notice right after I started wearing it, probably about a month into wearing it, one of the screws to the clip that goes on your pants was backing out. Now, probably from moving around or whatnot, and it would loosen up the screw. Not a big deal at all. All I did was I just threw some blue Loctite in there, and it took care of the problem immediately. I had not had a problem ever since. So, easily a year I wore it, and it never backed out again. Just make sure you adjust it to where you like the cant. Blue Loctite you can take out fairly easily. Red Loctite, it's going to be a little more difficult if you set it. But anyhow, one other thing that is fairly important to mention, as I mentioned in my first video, notice that the Kydex is not fastened directly to the meshy material. There's pros and cons to that. The pro of it is it does air very well. So if you are sweating in your hut, or if you're in a moist atmosphere or climate, it dries really well. It does air it out great. The downfall is because of that space in there, lint from your clothes or even dirt, I guess, if you're got shorts and you're rummaging around in sand or whatever, it does get up in there, so you have to wipe your firearm down quite a bit more. Now, honestly, that doesn't bother me at all. I'm very adamant on cleaning my firearms, and I wipe mine down anyway, especially it being a concealed carry gun, because that's the last thing you want to fail when you need it. So if you keep it clean, it's going to work. But anyhow, so it doesn't bother me at all. I just wipe it down, probably 2, maybe 3 times a week, but usually at least 2. So really happy with this holster. Other than those couple points, where it wore. And again, it's still extremely comfortable. I don't even notice the wear marks. I could care less. As long as it functions, that's what's important to me. So I did notice, I'm not obese by any means, but I do have a little meat on my bones. So when I wore this, I was worried about whether this flap would bend over from my side, from my waist. And I found that it doesn't fold right over like leather does. Leather tends to form to your body better. This goes back to its original shape quite a bit more. So, it doesn't adhere to a certain body part, so to speak. That's a benefit to me because, you can reholster and holster very easily. And I do run holstering and reholstering drills when I'm practicing. That might explain some of this wear up here from trying to, reholster the gun quickly. But anyway, I just wanted to share that with you. And on a side note, you folks all saw my Glock in the first video. Well, I'm really pleased to show you I had a Cerakote job done to it. And the Cerakote job was done by White Mountain Firearms. Actually, it's Mountains, it's plural, White Mountains Firearms, and it's in Conway, New Hampshire. The owner's name is Chris, and I forget his wife's name. I apologize for that. They are wonderful people. I had a really great time. Stopped by, didn't intend to drop my slide off, but I chatted with them, and I'd considered Cerakoting it for a while, and sure enough, they're very personable people. Prices are extremely reasonable. $75 to Cerakote a slide, and that's one color, of course. If you get into multiple colors, I'm sure there's a difference in price. These prices are subject to change, of course, because anything can happen over time. But from the posting of this video, as far as I know, one solid color is $75. But anyway, actually, I will show his card here. This is the one he sent me after he sent my slide back. So if you want to pause the video, write this information down. I was going to make a little notation in the video itself, but it's easier just to show the card than edit it. So there you are. His name is Chris Zanzler, and Kanzler, sorry. And this is a card that he sent back when he returned my slide to me. So anyhow, here it is. This is my Glock 19, and again, just going to show you it is unloaded. There is no magazine in. This frame is factory from Glock. It was a Lipsy special, and it is a darker than normal flat dark earth. It's hard to see this with this camera setup, and I apologize for that, but it's a little bit darker of a flat dark earth. It's almost like dark earth when they originally were coming out. So I had this slide Cerakoted desert sand. I just wanted that two-tone look to it. I thought it would look pretty cool. I put Talon grips on, which I'm a big fan of. I have that on several different firearms. Just gives me a great purchase. My hands get super dry in the winter time, and I do practice drills in the winter time, so by having that on, it really adheres, or not adheres, but it really helps me to grip the gun well, and it doesn't slide all over the place when my hands are dry with the cold polymer. As far as the slide goes, I am extremely pleased with the quality of this slide, and I'm actually going to break it down just to show you a little bit. I'm sorry if this video takes a little longer than normal, but I just wanted to get all this information in. Again, they did a super job with this. The inside is like a matty black. I'm sure that's probably the primer that they put on before they Cerakoted it. I could care less about the inside. You don't see that part of the gun. I actually just got back from the range after I received this today, and I was excited, so I went to the range just to shoot it and see how it functioned. And there was no question in my mind that it would, but I just wanted to for security reasons, because this is one of my carry guns. It ran fine, no flaws. I ran about 150 rounds through it. I was curious about, the fouling, if it would get on the slide, how easy it was to get off with the Cerakote coating. Sure enough, it didn't get that dirty, but, it wiped right off. And I did request that Chris, re-Cerakote my extractor because it had been very worn. That's actually one of the things that wore from using the Stealth Gear holster. And honestly, I know that guns are going to wear using holsters. There's nothing you can do about it. If you think you're going to be able to keep your gun 100% pristine in a carry holster, then think again. But anyway, so he Cerakoted the extractor for me, black, so it looks brand new. And I have pro sights on it. I'm pretty sure these were in my first video. I still run them. Fantastic sights. Really easy to pick up target acquisition. And he actually Cerakoted the rear sight for me because that had wear where it was silver, where it had worn off the blued finish on it. Wonderful job. I can't say enough thank you to Chris and his wife. Again, I'm sorry I don't remember your name, but wonderful people. If you are in the area, drive up there, see them. They're in North Conway, New Hampshire. White Mountains Firearms. If you're not in the area and you do want to send business his way, you can easily send your slide to him, USPS or by mail. He can do what he needs to do and send it back to you the same way. But anyway, just wanted to share that with you guys. I hope you enjoyed. And if you have any other questions about anything, please feel free to comment on the channel. And I will do the best I can to reply to you in a timely fashion. Be safe.